Hi, this is Mr. Barnett. I'll be reading chapters 38, 39 and 42. Chapter 38. Bradley Chalkers. Homework is the book report. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso. Mrs. Ebble's class, room 12, Red Hill School, last seat, last row, next to Jeff. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso by Bradley Chalkers. My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant was a very funny and crazy book by Uriah C. Lasso, a funny author to write such a book. It is a story told by a kid. The kid's parents are in jail because they stole an elephant, except they are innocent. Hey, I just realised something. You know what? You never know the kid's name. I just realised. You know what else too? You don't know if the kid is a boy or a girl. I just realised that right now, as I was writing this book report, because I don't know whether to write he or she. I told you it was crazy. The kid lives with his aunt and uncle. They're crazy too. They put wallpaper up in their garage for no reason. I told you they were crazy. Ace is crazy too. He's the lawyer for the kid's parents. He makes the kid practice crying for an hour every day so the kid will be able to cry good in court. Only when the kid finally gets to court, he doesn't cry, the kid laughs. Then everyone else laughs too. Then the kid's parents get to go home because they're innocent. Except, do you want to know something? I'm not so sure. I mean, if they really were innocent, then who ate all the peanuts? I told you it was crazy. The end. Absolutely wonderful, said Carla. Is it good? Asked Bradley. You captured the very essence of the book. He smiled even though he didn't know what essence meant. They were sitting around the table. It was Thursday before school. Bradley had turned his book report to Mrs. Ebble, but he wanted Carla to see it first, just in case he ripped it up. Carla was wearing a fluffy pink sweater. I always wondered what happened to Peanuts too, she said. Me too, said Bradley. And they could have hidden the elephant in the garage. That's why all the wallpaper was up there, to cover up the fingerprints. Do elephants have fingerprints? Asked Carla. Maybe they have trunk prints, he laughed. Well, I have to go to Mrs. Ebble's class. Here's your book back. Thank you. I didn't write on it or spill food or anything. I'd like for you to keep it, said Carla. It's my present to you. But I thought it was one of your favourite books. It is. That's why I want to give it to you. If I didn't like it, then it wouldn't be much of a present, would it? He smiled. I wish I had a present to give you, he said. You already gave me one. I did. What was it? The book report. The smile left his face. What's the matter? Well, I'm supposed to give it to Mrs. Ebble, but that's okay, you can have it. It wouldn't be much of a present if I didn't want it to. Carla laughed and shook her head. That's very sweet, Bradley, but that's not what I meant. I want you to give it to Mrs. Ebble. It just makes me very happy that you did such a wonderful job. That's the present that you gave me, really. Really, said Carla. It was the best present I could have gotten. He thought that was great. He was able to give it to Carla and still give it to Mrs. Ebble. What's wrong? Carla wiped her eyes. The corners of her mouth trembled. Are you crying? He asked. Bradley, I have something to tell you. I hope you can listen to what I have to say without feeling scared or upset. Suddenly, he felt very scared and upset. Tomorrow will be my last day here at Red Hill School. Huh? That's why I'm so glad you've written such a wonderful book report. I know you can continue to do the good work without me. I'm very proud of you. You're leaving? She nodded. I've been transferred. I'll be teaching kindergarten at Willow Bent School. But I want to thank you, Bradley. You've made my short time here very special. I'm so glad that we got to know each other. You're leaving? We can still see each other, she said. Saturday, he shook his head. No, you can't go. It's not fair. I have to. He couldn't believe it. What if I don't want to do my homework? Then you'll have to stay and make me want to do it again. She smiled warmly at him. Her blue eyes glistened. You're on your own now, Bradley. And you'll do wonderfully. No, it's not fair. He stood up. You tricked me. Carla stood too. She walked round the table toward him. I hate you, he shouted in her face. I know you don't mean that. Yes, I do. I hate your stupid book too. He picked up My Parents Didn't Steal an Elephant by Uriah C. Lasso and threw it at her. Then he picked the book up, and then he picked his book report up. Bradley, please. He ripped it in half. He stretched his mouth so wide that it was hard to tell whether it was a smile or a frown. He tore his book report up again and dropped the pieces to the floor. I hate you, he shouted, then ran out of the office. He ran into the boys' bathroom. He leaned over the sink and cried. His face throbbed as he watched the water rush down the drain. There was a knock on the bathroom door. Bradley, said Carla, are you all right? Go away, he yelled. I hate you. The door slowly opened. She stepped inside. You're not allowed in here, he said. I think it's important that we talk, said Carla. That's how friends handle their problems, by talking about them. That's why we've become such good friends, because we've learnt to talk to each other. I'm not your friend. Why would I want to be friends with you? I hate you. I like you, Bradley. I can like you, can't I? You don't have to like me. I'm not going to Colleen's birthday party, he said. And I don't like Jeff either. And I'm never going to do my homework, ever. And I'm going to fail all my tests. Do you want to know what I think? I think you're worried that now I'm leaving, everything will turn bad again. You think that Jeff won't like you anymore, and Colleen won't want you to come to her party, and Mrs. Ebel will give you bad grades no matter how hard you try. This is the boys' bathroom. But it wasn't me who magically changed your life, Bradley, she said. It was you. You're not Cinderella, and I'm not Prince Charming. You're not allowed in here, he said coldly. Saturday, I'm going to need someone to help me move all my things out of the office, she said. I would appreciate it very much if you would come and help me. Then afterwards, we could have some lunch together. We can go to a restaurant, just the two of us. He wanted to go to her, to hug her in a soft pink sweater, but he couldn't. He felt like his insides were being ripped apart. It would be lots of fun, said Carla, and it would be a great help to me. I have to use the toilet. Maybe I'll see you on Saturday, said Carla. I would like that very much. She turned and walked out the door. Bradley stayed in his bathroom until the bell rang. Then he went home, sick. Chapter 39. Ronnie hopped along singing, doo-dee-dee, doo-doo-doo. All the other animals were gathering together. What are you doing? Asked Ronnie. We're talking, said the lion. And you can't listen, and you can't listen, said the kangaroo. Oh, okay, said Ronnie. She waited for the other animals to finish talking. The other animals finished talking. We've finished talking, the lion told Ronnie. We took a vote. We don't like you anymore. Ronnie hopped away. Suddenly she fell quick into sand. Help, she cried. Bartholomew, save me. No, I won't, said Bartholomew. I'm not going to marry you either. Ronnie sank into the quicksand and died. Chapter 40. Bradley's mother took his temperature and told him he was normal. I am not, he argued. He's not normal, Claudia agreed. He's bizarre. Bradley felt as if his stomach was tied in a knot. Every time he thought about Carla, he felt the knot pull tighter. I hate her, I hate her. He repeated it as slowly as he walked into school. When he said he hated her, the knot in his stomach loosened just a little bit. He sat at his desk at the back of Mrs. Ebel's room. Last seat, last row. Hi, Bradley, said Jeff, sitting down next to him. Where were you yesterday? Were you sick? He didn't answer. Jeff wasn't his friend. He didn't have any friends. Bradley? called Miss Zebel. "Will you come here, please?" He dragged his feet to her desk. "I was sick yesterday," he told her. "Call my mother if you don't believe me." Mrs. Zebel waved that away. "I just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed your book report," she said. "It made me want to read the book." "Huh?" "Miss Davis gave it to me yesterday," Miss Ebel told him. "She explained to me how she accidentally ripped it." He stared at her, amazed, then noticed his book report taped together lying on Mrs. and Mrs. Ebel's desk. At the very top, red ink, was the word "excellent." "I gave you a gold star," said Mrs. Ebel. He picked up his book report and ran to his desk. There it was, next to the name Bradley Chalkers, a gold star. He slowly sat down and stared at it. It seemed to have shone brighter than all the other stars. The knot in his stomach jerked tight, and he had to look away. The star reminded him of Carla. "She's such a liar," he thought. "She said she accidentally tore it up when I was the one who did it. I hate her." He shoved his book report in the back of his desk. The knot loosened. He walked all recess. The other boys called to him from the basketball court. He pretended not to hear them. He just kept walking. "Okay," he decided. "I'll go and see her at lunch. I'll just go and say goodbye to her, that's all." "Everyone was looking for you to play basketball," Jeff said when he returned to class. "I told him you were still sick from yesterday." "I'm not sick," said Bradley. "I'm normal." When the bell rang for lunch, he walked to Mrs. Zebel's desk and asked for the hall pass. "Yes, Bradley," she said. He couldn't talk. The knot in his stomach was so tight it choked off his vocal cords. He stuck his hands in his pocket and walked outside. He sat in the far corner of the playground. Twice he thought he saw Carla. The first time it was a third grade. The second time it was a tree. His stomach was knotted up to eat anything. "I saw Carla," Jeff told him after lunch. "We went to her office to say goodbye. She said she'd like to see you. She said she'd wait in her office after school for you in case you wanted to talk to her. She asked me to tell you that." Bradley closed his eyes until the knot loosened. "Don't you even want to say goodbye to her?" Jeff asked. He shook his head. He could picture her waiting in the office for him. He'd walk in and she'd say, "Hello, Bradley. It's a pleasure to see you today. I appreciate your coming to see me." She might even kiss him again. When the final bell rang, he walked directly home. The knot inside him tightened with every step he took. "I hate her, I hate her, I hate her."